It's here at Bowman Library with a whole new teen book spotlight. So for this week, we are taking inspiration from what some of you may think is the greatest time of the year. Others could maybe care less. But we are taking inspiration from the start of the football season. NFL kicks off this week. That means we have 17 plus weekends of football. I am so super pumped, excited, and we're going to use this as our inspiration for our books because we're exploring football-themed, inspired books. We have some awesome fiction, we got some nonfiction. Even if you're not maybe a football fan, there's a little bit of something in here that you may actually want to read. And maybe in football, and some of them does take a backseat. So we have 6 stories, titles we're going to take a look at, so let's get started. Our first one is Stupid Fast. So Felton was always considered to be this scrawny kid, but when he turns 15, he has this massive growth spurt. And he actually finds, due to this new growth, this new strength he has, that he's actually an incredible sprinter. And when he's out sprinting one day, the football coach sees him. And the football coach knows he has to be on this team, that he's going to be a star, even though he has never played one down in his entire life. As he starts to become more ingrained in the team and in football, though, through these practices and friendships that he's forging, Felton is trying to do everything he can to not only manage his football life, but also his home life, which is currently a hot mess. You know, his best friend has gone for the summer. He hasn't seen him in forever. His mom is dealing with more and more increasing depression, especially after their father committed suicide just a few years before. And he's left to care for his younger brother, who is this piano prodigy, and that should be Felton's job. There's just a lot that's happening. And he feels like no one really truly understands what he's feeling or thinking. But as football starts to make him more physically stronger, it also starts to help him become stronger emotionally and mentally as well. And he uses what he starts to gain on the football field and apply it into his real life. Now, this is the first in the trilogy. The trilogy is completed. You will be along for this incredibly relatable journey with Felton as he's just trying to figure out life one day at a time. And it can be really messy. This is Stupid Fast. Hit counts. So Arlo loves anything and everything about football, but mostly the part that's about us hitting as hard as you possibly can. Now, it slowly becomes this obsession, though, because then he starts to train harder and harder, and he takes greater risks because he wants a greater reward. Now, as his mother and his girlfriend, they try to warn him about the impact football is having on him, things come to a head when he gets into a physical argument with his girlfriend at school, and a physical fight ensues between them. This leads him to examine what is actually going on with him and what are his options for the future. Now, this is told through all 4 years of his high school, so you will be along with Arlo as he does his 4 years of high school. You will see the progression of how football affects him physically, mentally, and emotionally. This is an amazing book. There's an incredible storytelling, typical Chris Lynch style, that examines the culture surrounding sports and the possible consequences of multiple concussions. A heart-wrenching read. This is Hit Counts. The Football Girl. So Tessa and Caleb have been best friends, with Tessa, who loves to run. She does cross country, she does track and field, and Caleb plays football. But Tessa starts to find herself being drawn to football as well. And over the summer, she decides that she's going to join a league. Let's see what happens. So she joins a league. She finds out she really enjoys playing the game. She's actually really good at it. But her experience ends horribly when she drops the weighing pass for the league championship. She's not going to let that stop her, though. She uses that as some inspiration and some drive, and she decides that she's going to go to football camp for her high school team. And the guys in her family, they don't think this is a good idea. They want her instead to go back to what she knows, and that's cross country. On the other side, though, Caleb, who is her best friend, he's incredibly torn between supporting her, Tessa, his best friend, as well as appeasing the other guys on the team who don't think she should be playing. Now this is told in both of their points of view, Tessa's and Caleb's, and this is all about finding your passion, sticking to it no matter the forces that are working against you. Even though it may seem predictable, I promise there are some twists and turns, outcomes that you won't see coming. The football girl. Jim Candy. So from the day he was born, Mick's father did everything he could in order to make sure that Mick was going to be a football star, even including holding him back from starting school years, so by the time he got to high school, he would be bigger and more powerful and stronger than anyone else, just given his age. Now, by high school, he is a star. He's the starting running back on his high school team, and everything is going great. Up until the last game of the season, when Mick has to score he has to get in the end zone. He has to score the touchdown. That's the only way they're going to win and their season is going to be successful. But Mick stopped 1 yard short of the end zone by this incredibly strong lineman on the other team. Now, Mick decides he's going to use that as inspiration and he's going to do whatever it's going to take to make him bigger and stronger than he was before. So Mick starts to work out every single day. He's doing whatever he can, lifting weights, the whole strength endurance training. But then he's introduced to steroids. And as Mick starts to use them, the only way he justifies is that he blames his dad. This is his dad's doing. His dad's the one who wants this for him. And so his dad's the reason why he's taking these steroids. But he also knows he has to do this if he's going to win. If he's going to obtain the dream that not only his dad has for him, but then Mick starts to realize he has for himself as well. Now, as Mick starts to live with the side effects, both physical, mentally, and emotionally, doing not only with the steroids, but the stress and the pressure that is on himself internally and externally, Mick is the only one who can decide what it is that he wants for his future, and he's going to have to accept some of the blame because it's not just all his dad. This emotional read, there's a lot of psychological stuff that goes into this one as well. It's a super deep read. It's not your typical average football book. This is Jim Candy. Game Changer, one of Neal Shusterman's newest books. And if you've read enough Neal Shusterman, you'll know this isn't just your straight up average football type book. So here's the deal with this one. Ash Bowman loves to play football. He loves to hit even harder. He's a defensive lineman on a high school team. And one Friday night, while he's out playing the game for his team, one moment changes everything. So, playing the game, he sacks the quarterback as hard as he possibly can. But when he does this, there's this moment in which his body is almost like frozen in ice. And Ash has no idea what is happening to him. And what feels like forever is actually a blink of an eye in reality. And when Ash comes out of this, he has no idea what to make of this. He has no idea what happened, what this feeling was. And Ash, as he's driving home at night, that's when he starts to realize that things are different. They are not as they were before. And the biggest thing that he notices at first is the stop signs are no longer red. They are now blue. And when he brings this up to his friend who's in the car with him, and then to his family and to other people, they all think he is crazy for remembering otherwise, because stop signs have always been blue, right? Like Ash is the one who's not remembering things the right way. Ash then soon realizes, he learns that he's the literal center of the universe now. And he has entered this dimension that's known as elsewhere, and each time he makes these power hits, it's actually a jump to another dimension. And each comes with their own new history and realization of the world. And as Ash starts to live these other lives, he's the only one who has memories from the previous ones. He has no one else kind of has any idea what's going on. He starts to realize that he can use this to bring good into the world, but it is not going to be easy to do. If you enjoy your science fiction with some other dimensions mixed in, all combined with football, then this was going to check all your boxes. This is Game Changer. And our last one is 50 Years, 50 Moments by the incredible Jerry Rice. This is all about the greatest plays, greatest moments in Super Bowl history. And the other thing I love about this one is not only to talk about these amazing plays, these moments, they also get in depth into the games as well. Now, what I also like about it is it doesn't just go in chronological order. For example, they count down the plays. There's some incredible pictures in there. They break down like the stats of the game, all different things, the starting lineups. So you not only become, here we go, we have some Steelers stuff going. You not only get to learn about the history of the football, but you get to know some of the people that you need to know if you love the game. An incredible book, an incredible piece of history. You can jump around, you don't have to read the whole thing, but you can always maybe just pick your favorite teams or your favorite players, and you can read about them. There's an incredible index in the back, which can be incredibly useful. So, hope you check this one out. If you want to learn some about your history of football, especially the Super Bowl, this is 50 years, 50 moments. So these are the 6 books that we have here that are hopefully get you football inspired, get you ready for the kickoff of the NFL season. So I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you get to watch some football if you're into that. Hopefully your team wins. But if they're playing the Patriots, I hope they don't. So, hope you tune back next week when you have a whole new Team Book Spotlight and have an amazing week.